Hello, my name is Misha, and I'm making this video to start like hopefully a series of me trying to improve my artwork. But this first video I'm gonna make is about my overconsumption of art supplies. Well, I decided to clean my closet and see all these tins of bins of stuff that are just art supplies. Like possibly like 500 to like $1,000 worth of art supplies. And the thing is that I barely use any of them. I am a person that gets very influenced by, watching, in YouTube, was on Twitter, Instagram, and decided to buy a ton of products. And so I had to like really look and stop and write down my thoughts, which is like right here on this paper, about like the things that have been going on in my mind about this. Though I'm gonna probably go off script. I'm already going off script right now. But it's like, you get in your mind that let's just back up. So I've been trying to be an artist since probably like 2016. I went to a small community college, got like a two-year degree in fine arts. And even though I got that degree, I couldn't really tell you what I truly wanted to be. I just decided like, I like drawing. Why not go and get a degree? And the problem is that now, fast forward like 10 years later, I couldn't really still tell you like what I truly want to do. And I decided to, like any like budding artist will go on YouTube and research, look at what everybody's doing. Like, oh, this person's using gouache, this person's using color pencils, ink, markers. You can see, on this picture I'm gonna probably put on the screen of everything I have bought. And I'm gonna tell you that I barely use a lot of these products. I'm a person that gets extremely frustrated very quickly. So I was using gouache trying to paint, and it just didn't, go work for me. So me being a person that, don't want to put the effort in, I just put it to the side, find something else to do, and it just sits there. I have Copics down here. I got, color pencils, which they're not like Prismacolor. They're just like some cheap ones I got from Five and Below. They're just, I try using those. Of course, I'm going to get frustrated with them. They're kind of cheap. But, I've seen people use cheap. I've seen people use like Corolla, like markers to make art. I'm just not a person that had put the effort in it. And I really feel like it's because I can't really tell you what I truly wanted to do. I've been looking at like so many careers and everything is interesting. Like, oh, well, it'd be cool to be, a concept artist, an animator, a digital artist, a traditional artist, a comic book artist, a graphic designer. I was like, well, I can try everything. But I never stick with anything. And so now I'm over here looking like quite a fool, upset at myself. Because, I could have probably been something that I wanted if I just sticked it to things and stopped letting myself get influenced. Like, you always hear about, like, the beginners that go on, Instagram and, see these really good artists, like, talented artists, and you like, wow, that's super cool. I want to do that. You do it. It doesn't turn out the way you want. And then all of a sudden, you just quit. And I was kind of like that. Like, I saw so many YouTube artists, or like even Instagram artists that did things that looked super cool. I went and bought the products to try it myself. And then since it didn't come the way I wanted, I just, like I said, just stopped, stopped drawing for probably a week, probably a couple months. And then I'll eventually go back. Like, my love of art will always still be there. I still somehow at the end of the day still go back to wanting to be an artist. But I was never focused on like what I truly wanted to do. And that's a problem because like I said, it's been almost 10 years and I feel like I really have not accomplished nothing. Like, I can look and see that, like, oh yeah, I can see improvements in my art, but I feel like after 10 years I should like have something to show, and I don't. Sorry, excuse my phone. And I don't. I don't like really complete art. Like, I study each year. I'm constantly relearn the fundamentals. I was like, let's draw these boxes, let's draw these cylinders. And that's sometimes what I always do, and I never create nothing. And it's like frustrating because I have a vision what I want to do, it's just I don't know what to do. I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Like, I have what I want to do. It's just I don't know what medium I wanted to do. But when I think of it, like each time I buy a new product and it doesn't work out, I always default back to using just pen and ink. And I do enjoy pen and ink. I really would enjoy, just, the filling of the paper, dabbing the ink on there with like fine liners, and just calling it a day. And I can sit there and just do that, but I just never try to do more with it. I think it's just that, like, when I was younger, it's probably just me, I just seen biases towards people that use color more. And like the ink artists, I feel I don't know how to really put it. It just feels like a lot of people just think that ink art is kind of like unfinished or something like that compared to like a painter. I don't really go to the museum and see like ink art. I see, big oil paintings, gouache paintings, watercolor paintings, those type of paintings, or digital art is just full of like all these bright colors. And I was like, well, I need to definitely learn color, and I'm horrible when it comes to color theory. I'm not gonna lie. But that's mainly because, once again, it's something that I don't try to learn. Like, I can be good with color, but once again, I get frustrated. And like, oh, well, you know what? I need my break to think, calm down, and just never get back to it. But regardless, I always will pick up a pen and an ink and draw or scribble something. And I feel like that's maybe the focus that I should do. That's probably what I should be focusing on for the next, hopefully couple months until, I decide that I want to do some coloring. And also, sorry. And also, there's coloring. Like, you can see that down there, I bought some like color fine liners. And, I can use that. To come up with something. Like, I do have ideas. Like, I do got like little OCs. I like drawing the cute animals, but not like trying to say like Hawaii cute. They're kind of a little rugged. They probably would say a goddamn cuss word if they had to, type animals. And I like urban environments, cityscapes, like coffee shops and stuff like that. So I was thinking like how I can, combine those in a type of way that, I'm sorry about that. A cop car, went by. But this also leads to another problem, is that like most people can say their favorite artist. I don't really feel like I have a favorite artist. Like, I have favorite cartoons, which are like my main motivation to like draw. Like, I grew up in like the era of, early Cartoon Network with Powerpuff Girls, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Courage, you know, Sheep in the Big City, if people remember that, like those type of cartoons. And I always enjoyed the bumpers, like the little, you know, things that happen before like the commercials come up. And, you know, I was heavily influenced by the city era of Cartoon Network, where, you know, they all lived together. There were just a bunch of cartoons that lived in this together. And I was like, oh my God, look, Ed and Eddie is interacting with, you know, Foster's Home of Imaginary Friends and things like that. I also was really influenced by Adult Swim, early Adult Swim, like bumpers, like just the music and just the pictures that were there, and it just gave you that feeling of calmness, of like coolness, in my opinion. And that's like, I thought that was just so inspiring for some reason. Like I was like, oh, I want to do something with that, but then I was like, okay, how the heck do I do something with that? Like, it's, I'm like in a blank, and I think that's where I get the stump is because like I am inspired by like chill music, lo-fi, hip-hop, and all that jazz. Um, but I don't know how to do it. Like my little squirrel character, who's named Swirl, is just a little squirrel that decided to move to the city. All my animals can talk. It's kind of like Disney-esque. There's not like a non-talking, well, there are some animals that don't talk for obvious reasons. I don't think I want a talking chicken if I'm going to kill it or something like that. But like, they live in this city, and that's just really the plot. They live in the city and they're basically citizens. They can have their own jobs, they can have their own apartments. They're not like entrepreneurial, they're just animals. And it's just about their daily life in this city, and it kind of reflects like the bumper cultures of just like early Cartoon Network and stuff. And I was like, okay, how do I reflect that in a way I want to, and also keep it in pen and ink? Because right about now, I said I was going to paint, but I don't have the urge to paint. It's like another thing I gave up, and that's like, okay, we can't constantly give up. Do you want to do something or not? Because if I don't, then this should be the last video of my YouTube, and I should never like paint again, which I don't. I already spent 10 years, and regardless, I still have the urge to paint. Even with the growing rise of like AI and stuff like that, you know, I can be possible late. I'm in my, you know, a lot of people are, you know, young, but I'm like in my 30s. But that's not going to stop me. I still want to, you know, reflect like art that reflects like my love of cartoons in the early 90s to like early 2000s. So, you know, I'm just kind of just trying to figure something out. Like, I know I can come up with something, and I will. And I think really what I need to do, which, let me get my goal page out here. Because I have my goals, and the main goal is that I need to stick with one medium. I think me just trying to, you know, constantly buy things and create things, I can't. I had to focus on one thing. I think that's just how my brain works. If I just focus on one thing, I know I can get it good on it. There's people that can do multiple things, but that's just not me. I think that, you know, I'm gonna stick with the with pen and ink. And there's so much thing I can do with pen and ink, guys. Like right now, I'm just gonna probably stick to fine liners. But you know, there's dip pens. I can do ink washes. There's color that ink that you could, you know, use as watercolors. Another medium I tried and like got frustrated with. So I was like, but you know, pen and ink, I'm perfectly fine with that. I can find ways. I can find ways to do things with that. I'm more leaning towards like a merch artist. Like, you know, I always wanted to try artist alleys, even though I haven't been to one. Shocker. Like, for a while, for a person who liked the art, I didn't know much about artist alleys and conventions. I was just a person that watched my cartoons, or sometimes the anime and mangas and stuff like that. I haven't really read any like comic books, but I always wanted to make like little small things, like really just like stickers and buttons. And I was like, how would I do that in just black and white? But then again, like I said, I got my color inks. I got my humongous, well, it's not humongous. I got my Copics and stuff that, I can try. And that really was the media I wanted to learn, was Copics. But alcohol markers is so hard. I don't understand what I'm doing. But I still want to give it another go. But like I said, let's go back to what I said. I need to just focus on one thing. And it should just be like the fine liners for now. Until I can draw something that I'm satisfied with. Not perfectional. That I'm just satisfied with. And that's like what I plan to do. The other thing I'm going to have to remind myself is that, fundamentals are important. But that shouldn't be the only thing I'm doing. I can sit right here and spend all this time on anatomy, but sometimes it goes in my head and then out my head, and then I'm just doing it again because I sat there and drew an arm raised, and I was like, okay, it's not how it's supposed to look. Okay, back to like 6 more months of fundamental to never draw nothing again. Like, I know that there's that like 50-50 rule, like you should do fundamentals and draw something, and that's what I really truly need to do, is make something. It doesn't matter how good it is, just if I make something. Like, I'm never going to get that another rule, the 10,000 bad drawings to get one good piece of art or something like that. Like, I don't think I even got the 10,000 drawings out. I could have had that out in 10 years, but I didn't. The other thing is like trying to find some artists that inspire me, and to me that's like kind of, I don't know why it's hard, because like I can find so many art pieces on Pinterest that inspire me, but never can find the artist. And I see that I gravitate towards a lot of like city environments with some streetwear influence and things like that. The pictures that you see when you listen to a lo-fi mix, like things like that. And I feel like this is a big one, is that I need to, if I'm going to learn something, I need to just have a couple of YouTube videos that I'm going to focus on. I will watch a video, try what they're doing, ditch them, and then try to spend like probably 4 hours trying to find another video. And then by the time I find like probably a couple of videos, I don't even feel like drawing no more. And I don't sit right there and let like that knowledge sink in my head, see like what they were trying to do. And I understand, like, yeah, if you're not gonna find a video that doesn't help you, obviously don't watch it and try to learn for it. But I'm a person that's like, I feel like they do a good job. Like, the main person that influenced me to start the pen and ink is what was his name? Alfonso Dunn. Like, he's a big pen and ink artist. Everything he did, and I feel like he's a really good resource. And I just never follow his stuff, but now I feel like I need to go back to his thing. Like, I had his book, but sadly my old house burnt down, and a lot of my books, even like old sketchbooks that I wanted to use for reference, were in the garage, and they're all gone. Like, I have no old sketchbooks no more. They're completely gone. So really, I'm just starting anew with my whole bin over here of printer paper, which I'm going to try to work through because I'm really trying to stop my over consumption. I don't need 50,000 sketchbooks. I know it's nice to have one, though I have like a little tiny one that I want to use, because I also like another influence person. It's like any like urban sketchers, because they're the only ones that really have like videos showing them drawing environments. I feel like that's another thing that kind of like hindered me a little, is that I only looked up a lot of artists that just draw characters, just people. That's all they really draw, with like barely any backgrounds. And that's like, to me, it kind of feels a little boring to me that you're just in the void. I was like, where's the background? It's nice to see like a person chilling in the city, drinking a coffee, laying in their bed, like things like that. And all I'm seeing is just this, half body image that, is rendered really nicely. Don't get me wrong. But it's just, yeah. The same like with the quiet arts style. It's the same like kind of BDI looking styles. And don't get me wrong, I think I'll show you also like my OCs. They do got the BDIs too. But like I said, I'm not trying to go like to the completely kawaii aspect of animal art. I kind of want to push them a little more. Like right now they are to me a bit bland. Like I feel like I can push their shape more, but that's something I'm gonna have to learn in the future, how to saturate a little bit more. But I definitely am like thinking of a plan of what to do. I mean, I need a plan. My goal for this year was actually to try to set up a shop by June, and it's already March. And I haven't even like created like at least one thing, like started a portfolio site, anything. I just restarted my Instagram, which doesn't have nothing on it. I mainly like usually post like some sketches and stuff on Blue Sky. I'm not downloading Twitter. And I'm not like much into like TikTok as much. So I guess it's just Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube. Probably, who knows, probably Twitch. Twitch would be kind of nice. But I don't have a webcam or a camera. I'm recording this on my phone. And I don't know really how to like use the phone for live streaming yet. That's just something I'm gonna have to learn. But I'm making this video mainly to hold myself accountable that I need to like do something and come up with a plan, because it's kind of ridiculous and I've been just like rambling and just sitting here just thinking like, okay, what do you want to truly do? Am I gonna get into my 40s and still be in this stage of like, I don't know what I want to do? And no, I can sit back and lose my 30 to improve and then enjoy my 40s. But yeah, I just had to make this video because it's hard. And like I said, you think that you don't fall into the trap. And I thought I didn't fall into the trap with like the, cautionary that like, oh, don't look at YouTube. Don't let these people influence you. All, these artists are really good. They probably have 10 years of experience. You can't make art like that. And, I got too cocky. Thought like, oh, I can learn everything at once, be anything I want, and never focus on anything, never niche down on anything. So now, after my, ego trip and my ego got burst, I'm back to square one yet again. And it's time to actually get something done. And who knows, I may be able to make my deadline in June if I start working now. But whatever, I post on YouTube, it's going to probably be a lot of pen and ink, drawings. And it doesn't really matter. I just need to post something. But I think to anybody who somehow finds this video, if you did watch, if you're probably in the same experience, I would enjoy a comment. If not, that's perfectly fine. As I said, this is a way to hold myself accountable and watch me grow as an artist in this, wild world that we're in right now. But thank you for everything. And I hope you guys have a nice day.